So on the top of page 19, I write out the words, number of Oregonians who use the food bank over total number of Oregonians. I like doing this before we do the fraction that I have here. This sort of is the conceptual part of the fraction, and then of course we will crunch the numbers and divide them using our calculators. But this shows what we're thinking first, and then we go actually copy down the numbers that were given on the previous page. I was just going to point out that you can take this number divided by this number, and you'll get this answer. Or you can simply take 1.7 divided by 4.2, because these millions, they're both millions, and so we can cancel them out and simply divide these numbers. Later on, we'll have a fraction that's got million over billion, and then you can't do that. You have to be a little bit more careful. Anyway, we get 0.40476, and I round that to 2 decimal places, rounded to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal places. So again, the decimal place that I'm keeping is the 0, and I look at the 4 and I say, nope, doesn't round up, so I keep 0.40. Then I write 0.40 over 1, multiply top and bottom by 100, which you can write out or not. And that is 40 over 100, which is 40%. So 40% of Oregonians used the food bank in 2020. That's a pretty large number. That was the beginning of the pandemic. And we're going to use the same principle down here. I already have a pie chart that shows the 2020 world population by region. So we're looking at the various regions of the world geographically. And this pie chart gives the percentages already. So what we're going to do is calculate and confirm these percentages. Looks like North America is 7.6%. South America, 5.5%, and so on. Asia is nearly 60% of the world's population in 2020. In order to confirm these, we are going to take these numbers which are provided, and then we'll divide by the world population. Now, in your book, you may have a different number, and I decided to make it a little cleaner. So please rewrite the number in your book as this number if it's different. And honestly, I think you'll get a very similar number even if you... Yeah, the number will not be that different. I just didn't want you to get confused when you have a slightly different number in your book. Okay, so I take the North American population, which is given here, and I divide by the world population, which is in your book, and I actually updated that and grabbed that number from here. So that will be our denominator for all of these fractions. And once we divide, we get 0.0757, which rounds to 0.076. And I'm keeping 3 decimal places here so that when I get my percentage, I have 1 decimal place. That does round up to 8%. And I like seeing the 7.6% because that was what was in this pie chart that was provided. So you can go ahead and repeat this process for South America and the other regions. I just wrote out the whole number here, South America over world, and went through my process of converting. And so in a way, this is just a repetitive activity, fairly straightforward to just get you comfortable with this part over whole and then converting to a decimal and to a percent. I did want to show you that for Europe, we have million over billion, and for Africa, we have billion over billion, so these get treated differently, and I'll continue in the next video.